Hello and welcome to Get Into Games on Air, a podcast about board games and the people who play them. I am Craig, as always, and as always, I am joined by Becky.
I never know what you're going to say.
You never know, because I change it every time, well, some of the times.
Anyway, hello.
Welcome to episode 29. We're sponsored by Rent, Shuffle and Roll. Go to rentshuffleandroll.co.uk and use code GITG50 to get 50% off your first month's rentals.
Was that just a stool so you could fill in the...
No, that's the title.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it rolls off the tongue, I think. I think that's quite a good upfront thing.
I wouldn't go with that.
Straight out. It was good. But I knew my name today, and I knew how to...
You did, but I think it needs a better title than that.
All right, then. Getting to know you...
I thought it was getting
into games.
On air redux.
Oh, yes, that's it. Welcome to episode 29, Get Into Games on Air Redux. Because everything deserves another redux.
Yeah. Well, because we haven't done one of these podcasts.
Going
where
back
we
to the
just
old...
talk to each other
Back to
for quite a while.
No. And we've had a bit of a break over the summer. We've been doing every other week or every other week and a half, and it was all getting a bit,
That's because
not
I
scheduled.
would ask you if you had uploaded it and you like half a week later go, no?
No.
Oh, I ought to do that.
Yeah, that is the power of editing, which doesn't happen. So yeah, in today's episode, sorry for this lovely ramble, and hope you haven't turned off already. In this episode, we are going to talk about board games, something original. We're going to talk about games that have hit our table over the summer, some of the highlights, some of the new games that we've got into Get Into Games HQ recently that we've got to the table, some that we're going to get to the table. Lots of exciting games and things going on. General chat about all stuff board games, latest news, hot topics, upgrades to board games, and much, much more. And also, we are going to quick fire question each other. We've written a range of questions for quick firing, and we're going to quick fire each other.
So should we start there then?
I think we should. It'll be fun.
Do you want me to ask my questions first?
Yes, I'm ready. I am ready for some quick fire questions.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Ready?
I'm ready.
Best box art on a game. It's supposed to be quick.
Everdell.
Oh, you can't just answer Everdell to everything.
Watch me.
Best name of a board game.
Star Wars Outer Rim. No. Best name of a board. Oh, that's a great question. Great question. 13 Beavers. No. Name of a board. Planet Unknown.
Yeah, that's cool.
I like that name.
Strangest game you have ever played.
Strangest.
Mm.
When
I wrote this question, I had one in mind.
I mean, Doctor is the strangest one I've ever played because it's not really a game.
I mean, it was a game, but you just didn't like it.
It's not a game.
You had to stack your little cubes for your life.
It's not a game. Horrible. Strangest game I've ever played is... it's probably... What are you thinking?
Butt chess.
Yep. Okay, that ticks a box. Butt chess. Yeah, butt chess from our good friends at Butt Chess. Yeah.
I mean, it's just a strange name. I mean, the game's not strange, but the strangeness is in that the game doesn't seem to match up with the game.
There's no buts, and I like.
It doesn't
butts,
do what it says on the tin.
Then I cannot lie. You other brothers cannot deny.
Okay, moving on.
Moving on.
Favorite toss-it colour.
Red.
I'm pretty sure toss-it don't call it red though.
All right, red. Yeah, the basic red.
There's a quiz. Can you name all the toss-it colours?
No, peach.
Okay, no.
I quite like the orange. To be fair, the orange is quite nice. Flows nicely as a dart. It's good.
Okay. Best Star Wars game ever that you couldn't live without if you had to get rid of all the other Star Wars games.
Well, I'd say Unlimited because I think that's your favourite, so we could actually play it together. And it's limitless as far as building decks and stuff like that. But I personally think Outer Rim is the best one. It feels the best, most Star Wars-y. Oh, I don't know. It's a tough question. I really like the deck, all of them. There's my answer.
No, you can only pick one.
And that's what I said, all of them once.
No, because I will get rid of all the others and you're only left with one.
Okay.
Which one?
I will put all of them in one box.
Quick.
Outer Rim.
Okay. Favourite Clock Tower script to run?
Trouble Brewing.
Favourite Clock Tower character to play as?
Oh, play as anything just generically chaotic.
Pick a character.
The Virgin. You just told me to put that on me under pressure. I like to play as the mutant. I think that's fun. Just to lie and be like, I'm this character, all honest, everything's good.
Okay.
It's just fun.
Favourite Clock Tower character to mess with as a storyteller?
Oh my god. The washerwoman.
Like, because you make them drunk
every day. Oh no, a drunk librarian. Mwah, chef's kiss, how good that is. Drunk librarian is the best thing, just to make a librarian drunk and just say, oh, one of these two characters is drunk, and they just go around telling everyone, oh, wouldn't trust their information, it's drunk, they're drunk. It's just like proper, I'm down the pub and I'm the one who's drunk telling everyone, yeah, you're drunk, mate. Oh, I love it.
Okay, game you want that isn't in your collection.
Technically?
No, you can't have the one that's on its way.
A game that I want. Harmonies.
Oh, you want that one, do you? Good to know. Birthday coming up. Favourite meeple or pawn in a game? The face-off this month. Was it this month or last month?
This month.
This month is meeple versus pawn, but what's your favourite one?
Boop Cat.
The Boop Cat.
And a probably Halloween one.
Shadows of the Galaxy or Spark of the Rebellion?
Spark of the Rebellion. OG.
Okay.
I prefer the characters, the cards of the characters.
I'm going to get this word wrong. Your anthropomorphic game of choice.
Everdell.
Board game dream. Could be a situation or could be an event you want to go to.
I want to play the Castles of Mad King Ludwig sitting on the bridge that overlooks Neuschwanstein.
That sounds amazing.
Can
I do that for my 40th birthday?
Let's do it. All right. Best of luck.
A game
Well, you need to buy the game again.
Oh, yeah. Does anybody have it? I don't know. Could we borrow it? Game you want to see come to fruition, or like an idea of a game that you want to see come to fruition? Not very quick fire, because that could take a long time.
I would like to see a game based around garbage men that are driving around with characters that look very similar to people.
Craig, that's cheating.
Sorry?
You're in that game, aren't
Okay,
you?
that's a good point.
Are you in that game?
Yes.
Yeah. That doesn't count.
All right. It's not
like
out
an
yet.
idea of a game that you're like, oh, I wish there was a game.
Window cleaning. I want to roll and write about window cleaning. Genuinely, I want to roll and write about window washing. I think it would be absolutely brilliant. Imagine you've got a block of flats, loads of windows, and you've got to roll different dice and wash different windows and different sections of windows going up. And you have to, amazing.
Okay.
Rolling Realms. Jamie Stegmaier, hit me up. Let's talk window cleaning.
Last question.
All right.
Scythe, war or peace?
Obviously peace.
We did actually pick peace when we did the Rise of Fenris.
We did pick peace.
We picked peace. And then later on you had to war, didn't you?
Yeah, and then it went all wrong. Cheers. That was fun.
So there were my 15 questions.
I like
those.
You
did quite well.
I thought, thanks. Thanks for telling me.
It was quite hard thinking of questions that I hadn't asked people before.
Yeah. I found that very difficult. I found it difficult.
You don't usually write the
I
questions.
found it difficult to prep anything.
And you've had to prep. Oh my god!
I know.
What?
Right, here we go. Are you ready?
No.
You are.
I bet they're going to be weird questions.
They're going to be great questions. Trust me. Okay, this one's not so weird. Your earliest board game memory.
So I suppose it's to do with the cupboard under the stairs. So we used to have a cupboard under the stairs where all the board games lived, and you used to be able to just go into the cupboard and pick a board game from under the cupboard, and that seemed cool at the time.
Okay. Cool.
I mean, it's probably not my earliest memory, but
It's a memory.
That's a memory, yeah.
Okay, do you have a more specific memory specifically regarding how excited you were to play Monopoly for your first time and how you turned down playing outside with friends to do it?
Oh my god! Craig, that's not really a question, more a prompt. Yes, so my mum offered to teach me how to play Monopoly, and I'd wanted to play for ages and ages and ages. And it happened to be that one of the people who lived in my road, so there were lots of children who lived in my road, but one of them came to knock and see if I would like to play it out. And I told them no, I want to stay at home and have my mum teach me Monopoly. And I did learn Monopoly, and it was very fun until I realised there were other games that were more fun than Monopoly. Mm-hmm. But for a good chunk of my childhood, Monopoly was the game to play.
Okay. What was your favourite childhood board game?
Game of Life, I think. Just because you got to...
That was the diary one, isn't it?
No, that's Game of the Year. Game of the Year is cool, but Game of Life is the one where you get the car, and then you get children, and then you retire, and you earn loads of money on your life insurances and stuff.
I thought you liked Payday as well. That was a great one. The red letter day, you had to get not the red letter, you had to get the mail. Oh, it was
I did, but
stuff of
you asked me the question, and then you are answering the question.
I don't believe you. That's fine. Okay, why did you choose Pandemic?
Sorry? This seems very pointed.
Why specifically did you choose Pandemic? The reason that we are in this podcast studio in the kitchen, the reason we have all of these board games behind us, evidently started.
This is starting to feel a little bit like police.
Interrogation.
Interrogation.
Yeah, it is. But you were the one who
My questions were quite nice, and now you're like, oh my god, why did you do this?
No, I was just saying, why was it Pandemic? Why did you bought that for my birthday as a game for us to play? What made Pandemic sit out for you?
Oh, I know.
To buy it.
I know. It was because it was...
I refused to play Monopoly with you.
Maybe. No, it was because it was a cooperative game, and we didn't have any of those at the time, and so it seemed different. And it had quite good reviews, I think, when I looked it up. And so, yeah, that's why I went with it. So
now we're in this place where this is all your fault. So if anyone wants to moan at me for my content, aim it at you.
Okay.
Good. A game you never, ever, ever, ever want to play ever again. Do you need some elevator music?
No, I maybe need a pointed... I think you said you would never play this again. I'm trying to think of games that we've got rid of recently. Oh, I know. What was the game called? The Egypt game? No, the Cleopatra's. You know, where it looks really cool.
Cleopatra Architects something Society of...
Where you had to build Cleopatra's palace.
Yeah.
That actually, in essence, the game was wrong and you were buying slaves and it just didn't feel right.
It
was like a cool thing to build the...
It looks cool. The deluxe big shiny proper version looked good, but the unpainted just big plastic house. Yeah.
No.
That's fine.
Not good.
A game you will always say yes to.
Viticulture. Blood on the Clock Tower.
Okay.
Yes. I don't know why I said Viticulture. Blood on the Clock Tower.
The house is on fire. You can only rescue with one game. Which one?
I don't like that question. Wormspan. It's got the most extra...
upgrades.
Arnuk, because it's got all the
upgrades. Theme first or mechanics?
Theme, I think, because the theme is the thing that gets you initially. Like the box art and the what it's about is the thing that draws you in, and then the mechanics come second. Like I don't recall going into a board game shop and going, oh, where are the card drafting games? Like that would come second. I would be more interested in what the game's about, theme-wise. I think.
What is the best ugly game?
Best ugly game? It's not ugly, but Kutna Horror, when I saw it, I thought, that just doesn't look like anything. It's just a big silver coin on the front of a box.
Yeah.
And then when we played it, it's got so many layers and so many different mechanics in it. I was like, this is amazing.
Yeah.
But the box doesn't sell the game.
No, not at all.
Like, I wasn't interested to play it. It was only because I'd heard PJ and Gareth, I think, talking about it that I thought, oh, I want to try it. But yeah, I wouldn't have bought it, I don't think, because of the box.
Yeah. No, that makes sense.
But it's not ugly. It's not ugly at all.
I think the box is nothing special. It's just a big coin. I think the actual game is quite pretty inside with the foiled art cards and stuff. But the actual, a game you regret culling. Is there a game you wish? I think we just mentioned it.
Did we?
No, I don't know.
A game. There's just going to be a long pause on the podcast while I'm thinking about games that are...
I'll sing a beautiful song to my darling listeners.
I mean,
hello.
Smash Up.
I was a terrible game. It's not even a game.
No, but I kind of really wanted to love it. And then we watched it on... Was it No Rolls?
We did watch NRB, yeah.
And it looks really fun. And some people love it, but I could just never get into it. So, but I don't think I care that much to have it back. I don't know. I feel like if we culled it for a reason. Like any games that we absolutely love, we wouldn't have got rid of. I don't think.
Makes sense. Okay, your favorite 2-player specific game? You've tuned in to Get Into Games on Air.
Okay, so there's like things like, I mean, I think Targi is really good. I think Paris, La Cité de Lumière is really good. I think Aquilin is really good. I like all of the like Kawali, those boops and things. I don't know that I could pick one though. I'm going to say Targi.
Nice. Very nice. Good choice. Good game. Favourite game to play with the kids? You're tuning in to Get Into Games.
Dodo.
Nice. Yeah.
Just because I have a really good memory of it at UKG when we just randomly rocked up to that what was it?
Tournament. The Dodo thing, yeah.
And the kids were so excited and I just love that game.
What is the most overhyped board game in your opinion?
Far Away.
Yeah. Agree.
I don't like it.
Yeah.
Controversial.
Yay! Cancelled in 18 minutes. A game that you'd always have in your handbag.
Cluster.
Good shout. And finally, co-op or corporate or competitive?
Competitive, I think. I think I'd naturally go competitive. There are times when I want to play cooperative, but you have to be in the mood, I think, those kind of games. But yeah, I'd always play competitive.
Mm-hmm. And that was the end of your interrogation.
Hey.
I mean, quick fire question.
It got better as it got to the end, but the first ones were like very pointed. Did you say this?
Your specific thing that you mentioned once in your
entire life,
adult life. Cool. So that was that. That's getting to know us a little bit better in our own quick fiery way. But
now I know how it feels when we put,
because
it's not that podcast. You need to actually talk, but the questions you're asking actually need some thinking time. So there's just like, maybe we could just leave a silent pause so that people could answer their questions as we go along.
We'll do that game, that one where we'll ask a question Think about that. Then we'll ask the second question, and they have to answer the first question.
Out of order.
Yeah, so we do that. That's next time. That's what we'll do. Cool.
Okay.
So, what's been happening? What we've been playing? What's been fun?
We've been playing lots of things, haven't we?
Lots and lots.
We have had
of games.
quite a lot of new games recently.
Yeah, in the last week.
Lots of review games as well.
Yeah.
Things have just been turning up at the doors. But since you have a new job, it's actually harder to get the games to the table to play.
Yes.
So we have to try and really sort out times where I'm not working and you're not working so that we can actually get the games
played
to the table.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Where should we start, do you think?
I was going to start with my favourite game.
Okay.
Of the hour, but then I was like, shall we leave it to the end?
But they're all favourite games of the hour.
Not all of them.
I think some of them...
Quite so.
Some of them There's two that I can see in front of me that I could play anytime, at least.
No, I'm not going to start. I'm going to end with those ones, I think.
Okay.
So, a small box game that came to us, which I really enjoyed. We took it out to a soft play when, in the holidays when the kids were...
Off school?
Oh, actually, we took our niece out as well, didn't we?
We did.
And we played this little card game, and I really enjoyed it. And it's really sort of strangely peaceful.
Yeah.
And it was called Alpina.
Yeah, Alpina. It's from Cold Springs Games. They sent us a copy, which was lovely of them. Thank you very much. It is created by the same designer as Sky Team. That two-player game. That's the best two-player game.
Which we now have upgraded pieces for.
Oh boy.
Thanks to Tinkertown Games.
Oh.
And it is divine.
Yes.
But we get away.
Yeah, we digress. But yes, Alpina is... You are trekking through the wilderness. Not exactly where, probably the Alps.
The Alps, yeah.
One would assume
across animals.
Different animals and different wildlife, and each card that you put, you essentially placing a card, and then you place one of your. You can choose to place one of your hikers on one of the cards, and then you score depending on where that person is.
Yeah. So, in the end, you lay out 25. Well, you start with one card and you lay out 24 more cards. So you end up with a 5x5 grid. And each card has like a requirement on it. So it might be one of each type of animal, or it might be animals that live in water, up and down, and you have to try and score the most points for those things. So if you put your hiker on a card, then you're essentially saying that at the end of the game, I think in the two-player version, you have 8 hikers. At the end of the game, you will score those cards.
Yeah.
So you're trying to strategically place your hikers on cards where you're going to score the most points and not run out of hikers before the other person, because otherwise you don't get to choose.
But also there's like an element of, what do I place my hiker on this? Do I go in for this one? But then you don't place your hiker. Your opponent can place their hiker on a later turn on your card that you just placed.
If it's adjacent, I think.
Yeah, so there's a risk of, do I claim this? Or I'm not really into frogs at the moment. And then your opponent is, actually, I've got loads of frogs in my hand. I can make this work in my favour. So I'll place something there, place it on that, and get the benefit. So there is a lot of strategic thinking in it. But like you said, I do think it's quite peaceful. I don't, it is very competitive, but it's also... It doesn't feel competitive. It's a weird thing. It doesn't feel like you're at each other's throat, but it does feel like you're definitely challenging for points.
The artwork lends itself to calm and serenity, and it's very beautiful. But yeah,
it's a lovely tableau builder with a bit of worker placement, essentially, which is lovely.
It is nice. We have since then been gifted a copy of Castle Combo.
Yeah, so Castle Combo is a new game that hasn't been released yet, I don't think. It's a new game coming from Hachette.
Which is in a similar vein to Alpina, in that you are drafting out, this time, 9 cards in your own tableau. and they will score based on what other cards you have in your tableau. So it might be if you have, so you're collecting people in your town, I think.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what the exact premise is. So you might score 2 points for every person that has a grey banner on them, or you might score, I don't know, 8 points if you have filled in all of the left-hand side of the column. So you're going to score all 9 of your cards, but you only have a certain amount of money, and if you run out of money, you can take a card and turn it upside down. It gives you 6 money and 2 keys. Keys allow you to move
the messenger
up, and so there's 2 rows of cards you can choose from, but you have to choose from the row where the messenger is, unless you use a key to move the messenger up or down.
Yeah.
When you take a card which has like a triangle, a grey triangle, or a brown triangle.
Yep.
When you take and place one of those in your tableau, then the messenger moves automatically. So you might want to move it because it might now not be in a satisfactory position for you. But it felt a bit like Alpina in that you've got to think how you're going to score these cards and which card should you take in order to score the...
Yes, scoring pretty much is the same, isn't it? It's like rows and columns and based on symbols. The main difference is like it's your own personal tableau you're building. Mm-hmm. You're buying cards, so you have limited funds to really fill your tableau out. So those keys are worth points at the end. So do you spend those keys to move the messenger to get the best card? But at the end, you might find that you don't have enough keys that are giving you that bump in points. It's really nice. It's different enough to have both, I would say.
Yeah, and it's like for like, what does it say? 25 minutes on the box. So it's quite a quick game, but there's quite a lot of strategy. I mean, we were playing with our 9-year-old, and you were umming and ahhing, and
it would take forever.
Shall I take this card? Shall I not? Or what would be like? There's quite a lot of thinking to be done in quite a small, quick game.
Yeah,
like you're literally only laying out 9 cards.
Yeah,
but it feels like I want to make the right choice to optimize my strategy, and
I definitely think you could get like quite into
paralysis.
Analysis paralysis mode with it. It's good. I did enjoy it. It's definitely one I'd like to get to the table again and again to really sink my teeth in it. I think Alpina definitely is one of those ones to stay because of just what it is, and I think our daughter would really love that as well.
But they're also both the kind of games that if you've got somebody who's not into games, they can just lay out cards. Like in Alpina, you can just place a worker and see what happens at the end. Like, you can do all the strategizing and the thinking. Obviously, you'll probably score more points, but you can have like a younger player just pick a card that they like and put it down and see what happens at the end. So,
definitely.
It was cool. Another game... Well, Wandering Towers has been played a few times in the holidays.
Multiple player lengths. We played at Mollycon a few times. We've played it quite a few times with Dale and Midge, Nero Dicey. So it's been good.
We've definitely road tested it.
It is fantastic game.
It is a solid game.
Yeah, I really like it. I would highly recommend it.
It's very simple. Like, the idea behind it is very simple in that you are literally just moving... so on your turn, I think we talked about it before, but on your turn you can either move your wizards or you can move a castle. That's essentially what you can do.
Yeah.
But when you move the towers, you can move parts of the towers, and you can cover up wizards. In fact, you have to cover up wizards in order to
exactly. You have to crush wizards so you can use their blood to fill up vials of potion to be able to use them to win the game and put into the Raven scheme.
If you play Craig's version, that's what happens. It's very simple, but then it's one of those games where adults don't know where the wizards are. Like, you can be playing with the kids and you're like, you've got to remember where your wizards are, and you'll be like, I don't even know where my wizards are. And we were playing with Nero Dicey. And I was like, I don't know where my wizard is, and then I was it was quite comical. But...
It's a really fun game that it's just I'd so recommend it.
It works wonderful. At all player counts. It doesn't seem to have a bad player count.
No,
really.
I think 6 when we played it at Molicon felt like okay, this. It was a learning game for some people as well, but it felt a lot. I think 4 might be a sweet spot, but it does work perfectly at any number.
Depending on how many players you have, depends on how many
meeples you have,
or wizards you have.
Yeah.
And what colours you can play with as well.
Yeah, it's a definite.
You can't play with the purple unless you're playing with more players.
Yes,
which is just very disappointing.
Exactly.
So that was cool. We played 13 Beavers just the other day.
So yeah, 13 Beavers is a game by Matt Edmondson off the radio, here in Old Blighty, and his company, because he makes lots of board games. 13 Beavers is the newest one. And it is just a pure push your luck game. It's play your cards right. It's higher or lower. Here's a number. Do you think this is higher or do you think this is lower? If it's higher, you move your beaver one forward. If it's lower, you go back to the dam, and you can choose at any point to stop and build a dam. And then if you stop, that's where your beaver would start from the next time. So in can't stop fashion with the dice. But there's loads of, so it's really cool because it's just pure push your luck. How far do you try to go to get all the way around this map, this lake? But there's some really cool things. There's a tunnel to paradise because you're trying to make it all the way around to paradise.
So Craig loves the tunnel to paradise.
I do love the tunnel to paradise.
So the tunnel to paradise is right at the start of the
game. Yep, you can immediately win it.
But you have to turn over. You have to name the number. So there are cards 1 to 13, and you have to name which number you're going to turn over in order to get through the tunnel of paradise. So the likelihood of you doing that is very low.
Yeah, so there's cards 1 to 13,
and
but that's multiple times.
You have to go back to the start, which is ultimately what Craig did many times.
And no matter where you place your dam and your beaver go all the way back to the beginning, so you properly go back.
Yeah.
And then there's like the rapids,
but it's cute because the beaver actually fits in the dam.
Yeah,
and you move forward, and then you can shout "Dam!" and the dam then moves to you.
But there's some cool bits as well. There's like some rapids where you can choose, do you go on the safe route or do you try to go through the rapids? And if you get the question wrong, you go on the rapids and you go backwards, or if you get it right, you go on the rapids, you go forward. So you either you lose 3 spaces or you get 3 spaces.
There's a little fishing pool with a fishing rod with actually magnetic fish, and you go fishing.
Yeah.
And then there's like fish that you can do double steps. But there's some stinky fish which would make you go backwards. So that it's cute.
And then there's a cave of wolves, and if you turn them over, if they're awake, you can't pass them. But if you turn over the one where they're asleep, when there's only one of the 8 tiles he's asleep, and then you
know what I liked
past.
about that is that while you were trying to get in the paradise, whatever it's called, I got stuck there, but it gave you a chance to catch up a bit because you have to. So your turn ends when you turn over a wolf that's awake, and there are more wolves awake than there are asleep. Yeah. So you end up just wasting like 6 goes while you're trying to find the wolf that's asleep. Yeah. But it's good because then it gives the other people.
It's a catch up. Yeah, it's a good catch up mechanism, and it's just. Production value, I'd say it's like a big potato game with production. Like it's so good.
It's a good game, and it plays up to 6.
6 player.
Kids can play it because it's age 7+, and it's just a quick. I think playtime says 10 minutes. It's a quick kind of intro game. It would be a bit of a laugh and a bit.
But honestly, the 7+ I think is like,
Cordy.
Easily younger. All you're doing is this a bigger number or a smaller number? Say a number between 1 and 13. Turn a tile over, catch a fish. Like, it's not difficult. So I don't really know why it's 7+. I suppose to make sure it's not a children's game, like specifically children's.
And they have to understand the number system, don't they? Because you're essentially saying higher or lower to numbers. So
words.
Yes. Again, we learn at Molicon, thanks to Board Game Review UK, Nick.
Yes.
was Draftosaurus.
Yeah.
And then we played again with May from
Playing Together board games.
Mm-hmm. And that is one that I might like to add to our collection.
If you could ever find it.
Yeah. So essentially you're drafting dinosaurs into a park. There is a dice that you roll which tells
where you can
you can place it, unless you're the person who rolled the dice, in which case you can place it wherever you like.
Yep.
But there are certain places in the park where it wants all the same dinosaur or different dinosaurs or a pattern of dinosaurs or no T-Rexes, I don't know.
Yeah.
And essentially you're trying to score the most points by placing the dinosaurs. But you draft the dinosaurs into your hand, then you pass your hand to the next player. So it's also trying to work out what the next player might take and what's going to be left for you when you get it. And it's another simple game, very quick, very fast paced. You can play 2 rounds because there's a double-sided board.
Yep.
But it's very satisfying, and the little dinosaur meeples are quite cute.
And we played with one of the expansions as well, was the river at the bottom. That was really nice. You had a little plesiosaur or whatever it's called, and he goes along under the bridges every time you do a specific plays a specific dinosaur, and gets you points. And then there's another one with pterodactyls which go into nests, which we didn't play, but we saw it. It looks really cool. My only bugbear with it is that it joins to the bottom of the board, but the art doesn't match the board, so the lake doesn't fit perfectly. Like it's not square to the bottom of the board. You have to move it across to the right slightly, and it still isn't like. That's just could have just done a little bit better there, I think. Personally, tut and tut.
Another one that's getting played a lot, and I saw was being played at Monicon as well, is Courtesans.
Yes.
Seems to come out every time we have a new set of people come round.
Yeah. Have you played this? No, let's play this because it's brilliant.
Game as well, isn't
yeah.
it? It's got a sort of woven mat that you roll out into the middle of the table, and you're having a banquet, and some families will be in favour and some families will be out of favour.
Yeah.
You have personal objective cards, and then you get 3 cards. You have to place one into your tableau. Well, it's not a tableau, but set collection of cards. You have to place one in another player's set, and you have to place one at the banqueting table above or below. But there are certain cards where there is a spy, there is some
shield
an assassin.
Protecting. Yeah.
But it just plays really well. And again, it's a quick kind of filler game, I would say. Yeah,
it's quick, nice, quick, and it's one where you can play over and over again as well, which is always nice.
But it's just very enjoyable, very simple to teach.
Yes.
And explain. But very satisfying in the set collection kind of. And I like the sorry, I'm gonna cough.
Don't do that. Terrible.
I like the spy bit where you reveal at the end the spies.
Yeah, they've got cards face down, and then
because you don't know, you're guessing till the end whether your cards are going to score you points or lose you points because you just don't know what those spy cards are going to do.
Yeah,
so
definitely,
that's very good. We got sent for a review Chess-a-Tête.
Yeah.
Which is a card game where one of you, well, it's like chess, isn't it? One of you are the blacks, one of you are the whites.
Yeah.
And you've got action cards, I think, and you can lay out the chess pieces as you would on a board. And then you're trying to deplete somebody else's chess pieces.
It's a bit Exploding Kittensy, but chess. But
in order to play the attack cards, they're not action cards. They're attack cards and defense cards. You have to have those pieces in front of you.
Yeah.
So it's much easier than taking a chessboard out. Just
definitely.
2 packs of cards.
Yeah.
So if you like chess,
yes.
That's definitely one for you. I'm not sure I've totally sussed it out. I think requires a few more plays.
Yeah, definitely.
The artwork is cool.
Yeah, it's coming to Kickstarter at some point soon, so it's a nice little game.
Another small. We've got lots of small box games. We're getting to the bigger ones now. Quick Stop was very satisfying.
Yeah.
I think you played it at
Hilarious
Mollycon.
game, yeah. We did. We played it at Mollycon, played it with Games with Beanie. It's just, it's a...
Hilarity ensues, and it often goes quite dark or...
quite rude, yeah. It's a bit like P is for Pizza, in that way that you're basically trying to be the first one to shout out words and throw cards based on letters. It's just, I think we've spoken about it before. You put down a letter, a question, and the question might be, is orange? And then you have to throw down cards and of a word beginning with the letter that you've got in your hand that is based around the question. And as soon as 3 cards are down, the cards are wiped, then the next question comes out and we carry on until someone's lost all their cards. And then when they've got no cards, you add up the numbers that are left based on these lightning bolts that are on the cards that people got left in their hand. When someone reaches 40 points, the game ends and whoever's got the lowest score then wins. So a bit like Six Nimmt. Yeah, brilliant. Really funny.
Mm-hmm. You mentioned it in your quick fire questions. But we had the chance. So we've played Harmonies online.
Yes.
I liked it because I thought I was just building a puzzle, basically, of different combos of colours. But that's not what Harmonies is, because we played actual Harmonies in real life and learnt that there's a whole scoring structure to the different colours. So I had been playing it totally wrong. And I would say it's one that if you've played it on BGA, please play it in real life
if you get the chance,
because there is something so beautiful about... So essentially you're building a ecosystem kind of thing. So you can build trees, you can build a river, you can build houses, I think,
flowers
rocks
and all
things.
sorts,
But what you don't get on BGA is this concept of the trees growing up, because when you see it in physicality, you can see that the trees are taller and the river's running through it, and you can actually visualize it. On BGA, that doesn't come across, and it's a beautiful game, and I know it was really hot at UKG, I think. We're a bit late to the party. But...
So many people have played it on BGA and gone, yeah, it's fine. Whereas it's in the flesh, you can really see that 3D, that depth, and of what you're creating in front of you, and it's beautiful. It is a really good puzzly game. Yes, there are, I suppose you could say, scoring elements in ways of like Cascadia or Acropolis or those kind of games, and or Tiny Towns. How many of that type of game do you need in your life? One more. One more would be the answer to that. Harmonies is fantastic.
A surprise, I suppose, to you.
It was a surprise to me.
Well, actually, to both of us, because so we have played this game on BGA. We have watched Triwin Games take things out of this box quite a lot on his lives. And we were like, no, this game is not for us. We're not dog people. So you might have guessed what it is now, but it is Spots.
Yeah.
And on BGA, it's okay. We played it quite a few times with Games with Beanie.
Yeah, we played it a couple of times ourselves. We just give it a go.
And we were like, yeah, it's rolling dice and it's putting them on cards, and then you score them.
Or you lose all your dice.
Yeah.
And why do you lose all your dice? I don't know.
And it's like, what? Okay. So you get sent this by...
VR Distributions, thanks very much.
And again, it's one that sort of doesn't translate fully onto BGA.
No.
So I think BGA only has... I'm not sure, but we've only ever played the one set of cards.
Yeah.
On BGA. I don't know if it has any options for other sets of cards. But in the box, there are loads of different tricks that the dogs can do. And so part of the beauty of it in real life is that there are so many combinations of different ways you can play it.
Yeah.
So it just says once you're, I don't know, not a beginner anymore at the game, you can just mix and match the colours. You just have to have one of each type of colour.
Yeah.
I mean, we played a game the other day where it didn't work out because the cards that we drew, well, I mean, it was fine, but it wasn't the best game because the cards we drew didn't actually allow us to draw many dice.
It was a weird range of cards.
But there is something nice about being able to change up the game in that way.
Yeah.
But it's just nicer in real life.
I really like it now. Yeah, I'd happily. I mean, it is a pure luck game. Like there's nothing about like if you don't like pure luck in a game,
you can mitigate it though a little bit. So the game comes with hundreds. Oh, it's not hundreds. I don't know, about 20 dice. So you open the box, and there's only a small box, and there's just loads of dice.
Yes.
Just roll them all. Because some of the cards say, roll 8 dice, and then something else.
Yeah.
And that's quite satisfying to just roll 8 dice. Eight dice at a time. Where was I going?
But if you have treats, you can re-roll and mitigate the rolls a bit.
You can have another go if it doesn't land the way you are. Because you've got a kennel or something.
Okay, it's a kennel, yeah.
And the dice that you can't place,
you bury them.
You bury them, but you can only bury it up to 7 points.
7
spots.
Dots.
So there's that balance of like I can't afford to actually, because I don't want to, because if you go over those 7 points or 7 dots, then you have to get rid of all the dice that are currently on your dogs, and then you can't score them, and you have to start again.
And I think it's also understanding when you have the physical game, you can see that there is your main action, and then there's the second action that if you want to action, so then you can roll dice, then roll do. After you've done that, you can do this. And it doesn't really come across to me. It didn't really come across on BGA, but definitely in real life, really good. But yeah, it is if you're not a pure luck person and like that, if you just have bad dice luck, which I did the other day, and it was just like this is now just annoying. But
I think we've done all the small box games that we've been playing.
Yeah.
I would just like to give a shout out to Tinkertown Games because we have been sent some of their upgrades.
Oh yes.
And if you've got some spare money kicking about, oh my gosh, some of these upgrades are absolutely beautiful. We got the Sky Team
metal switches and metal dial for the plane, whether it's going like horizontal or crashing into the ground.
I'm not sure that it makes a whole difference to the game, but it's so much nicer.
It is so satisfying to see. Like I originally thought, upgrades for Sky Team are fine, but it's not necessary. They don't like the Sky Team looks great, and then once these upgrades came in, and I just compared them next to the plastic like jam jar lid of an airplane and cardboard switches, it was like, this is
need that in your
this
life.
Is a big difference. This is
and I am waiting to play on it because we got the little books, which are bound with like an elastic band, and you can actually write in them. And I'm desperate to. I won't be able to write it in pen because I just
scared.
But I'll write in pencil the score of the game based on the color that you play as, and we've got like the magnifying glass.
They're like little leather-bound books with 25 pages in, and it's stunning. To go with the metal, the compasses and the coins that they had sent us already.
My gosh, that game is
just
so beautiful.
Now it's, and I've dipped the I've non-oiled the tablets as well, so they've got like really nice markings on. Our Arnock is, other than having stickers on the meeples, is fully pimped.
So if you fancy pimping your games, go to Tinkertown Games. That's not an advert, but that's just
it is now
a recommendation.
We also got the credits for Star Wars Outer Rim. Beautiful metal, so satisfying.
That's like that, but there's something satisfying about playing any game with metal coins.
And the Wormspan metal coins, metal coins for the.
But we had the upgrades.
We had the gold and the gems and the milk and the other stuff for that and meat.
So now they're properly pimped.
Gorgeous stuff.
Go check it out if you haven't already.
Yes.
That was just an interlude Did you want to do another ad or no?
We don't have any ads.
Oh, okay.
No.
You're just gonna
I'm
you're just gonna do it at another time.
Yeah. Probably.
You don't want to do it in the middle.
No.
Oh, you did it at the start, but you didn't want to do it in the middle.
Yeah, it's fine. What's the next one?
You're gonna do it as soon as I start.
No, why would I do that?
Because that's the type of person you are.
No, not going to happen.
Okay, so...
if you head to rentshuffleandroll.co.uk, you can get 50% off your first month's rental with Rent Shuffle and Roll. Who are Rent Shuffle and Roll? Well, Rent Shuffle and Roll are a board game rental service where you can rent board games and play them at your will and then send them all back. Do you want mystery vaults? Do you want worker placement games? You can search for what you want, find what you want, write a wish list. They'll send you games. They'll even send you a pre-packed envelope and shipping detail piece of paper situation so you can post it all the way back. Yes, Rent, Shuffle and Roll sponsor this podcast. This podcast called Get Into Games on Air. I just forgot. I didn't even think we were recording. But yes, they sponsor us, so you should sponsor them by giving them money, your money. And using GITG50, you can get 50% off. That's 50% less of your money to give them for that first month. And you can enjoy lots of board games whilst also helping keep the lights on in the podcast studio. What was the game you were talking about?
I don't know.
Okay.
Shall I just pick one?
Yeah, sure.
So we played...
Rent, Shuffle... Oh, sorry. Carry on.
Oh, please don't do that every time. We played Star Wars Outer Rim with its expansion.
Oh, yes. Unfinished business.
What did it add, Craig?
Here, unfinished business.
No, I was hoping you'd say do an ad then, because I said, what did it add? No.
It added...
I'm joking.
Rent, Shuffle and...
I'm joking. What did it actually add?
GITG15.
What did it actually add?
It added more nav points, more characters to be able to search and find on the way. Mm-hmm. Hundreds and hundreds more cards. More interesting ways to get around the board, because originally you had to go from one side of the board to the other side of the board and then back on yourself. But now you can travel across the core. But if you travel across the core, it's a risk, so you have to turn a card over and do the situation that's on the card. Yeah, just added a bit more like balance to the force. See what I did there?
Some asymmetric powers.
Yes. Oh, yes. Some some asymmetric abilities, like so you can have like a faction or a reason for being a reason that you're doing what you're doing. Obviously, you get more characters and you get more ships. So more characters to be with more abilities and more ships to buy, including Dash Rendar's Outrider. Beautiful, beautiful thing. Most stunning ship.
It is a good game. It is one of the Star Wars games that I think I actually will play that when you ask me if I'd play a Star Wars game.
It's good. It can be one that drags, and it can be one that you get, again, it can be really annoying when you just have bad dice luck or get stuck doing something.
Or if you go to the, what's it called? The Vortex thing.
Yeah.
Which I always get stuck in.
Yeah.
Notoriously. Craig always says, are you sure you want to go there? And I'm like, yeah. And then I'm like, oh no. I like literally lost everything again.
But yeah, it's a wonderful game and definitely worthwhile with those upgraded credits and that folded space insert that we have.
Oh, it makes it so much easier to get out.
Yeah, because like a lot of those games, a lot of the Fantasy Flight stuff and a lot of games where like CG's games, beautiful games, component soup in the box. When you have an insert, especially a folded space insert, lightweight, easy to build and easy to glue together, and it's just a fantastic insert. They do loads of different inserts. They even do coloured inserts for games like Wormspan and Lost Ruins of Arnak that match the same as the box art. This isn't an ad, but if it wanted to be an ad, it could be. That's folded space. They do inserts.
Okay. Wow.
An ad machine. Hello.
Oh yes.
Yes.
A game that we got at Molicon from
Steve.
Board Game Waffle. Was Chronicles of Abel. Now, Craig has been looking for this game for ages, so we've been in all the bring and buys, and every time we look for it and we cannot find it. I think we may have found it once, but it was quite expensive.
Yeah.
And he's told me about this for ages, and I'm like, yeah, do we need it though? And then Board Game Waffle was getting rid of it, so we now kindly have it and its expansions in our house. And we introduced our eldest to it, and oh my gosh, she loved it.
Mm-hmm.
You get to, before you even start the game, which this is like the bit that I love, you get to design your own character. So
hero,
she sat for like half an hour before we played the game while we were setting it up. Well, we were also drawing our characters. Colouring in her character, and making a name for it, and etc. And it just helps to immerse yourself in this game. So, like, now I've created a character. Now I'm going to go, on a journey.
The character is me. This is me going on an adventure.
And it's like making a D&D character.
Yes, yeah. This is the core.
It's like
of
the like a starting point. If anybody's like ever wondering how to get your children into those kind of role play games, like I think it's a good start.
100%.
And younger children can kind of do it because it's like a co-op game. So then essentially you have, are they hexagonal tiles?
Yes,
hexagonal tiles, which you turn over. You discover each tile does something slightly different. There are baddies that come out. You have to defeat the baddies, and then there's a big monster at the end that you have to defeat.
Yeah, it's got that like the whole Castle Panic vibe, like everything's coming towards you
in the second half of the game.
It
starts coming towards you. But what's neat about this game is they're like double layered boards, aren't they?
Yeah, they're double layered.
So where you put your
sheet
with your character in, and then you layer it over the top. And then your character can carry weapons or have shields or whatever.
Yeah.
And they fit on top of the character in this double-layered board. And then you have a backpack. And the thing that I think is amazing about this game is that you can only carry what you can fit in your backpack.
Yep.
So there was a point where I was like, oh, and I've got 8 coins and something else. And I was like, but I can't fit it all in the backpack. And Craig was like, we have to get rid of it then. I'm like, so then there's me trying to like fit it all together. How can I put this in so that I do fit it all in and I don't lose stuff? And I think that's I've not seen that before. But
I'm not going to lie, that was the selling factor for me.
Yeah,
like the spatial really puzzle of the fact that there's a bag that's a specific shape, and obviously all the things that you're getting and finding on your quest are different shapes, and you've got to try and fit that. If you can't fit them on your person, you've got to fit them in your bag, and if you can't fit them in the bag, you just have to throw them away.
You can pass them to people if you're on the same space, I think, but
you have to have them in your bag to be able to swap them over.
But that's like that's cool. But again, it's like the D&D thing of, well, you've only got so many grams that you can carry or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's just building up that character, and that like you can't have everything. So but she loved it, and I can't wait to play that again.
Yeah. And then with the expansion, you've got lots of different baddies and stuff to add, because obviously with the base game, you've got one big baddie. And okay, you can level it up, you can make it more difficult, you can make it easier. But you are essentially battling the same person. So the replayability there, it has got loads of replayability, but there's a potential after X amount of games, you might go, oh, you know what? I'm something different. Mm-hmm. Which the expansion gives you. Whether the actual baddie is actually different to fight is probably not. But I think it's about the story you're creating this thing. And because the hexagonal tiles are placed differently every time, the board is completely modular, everything is different. It's really cool.
We have had the chance to play Rolling Realms Redux.
Yes.
And we played some of the new realms, which are very interesting.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed it, actually. Things like Planet Unknown, Wonderland's War. I can't remember what else there was.
Yeah, there's some really cool realms. They feel, some of them feel a bit more mathy. There's lots more add this and this to the sum of the dice, and then if you win, you can colour in
It's not quite as straightforward as the original, where you just had to circle something and you got some resources.
Yeah.
It feels like you have to do a little bit more thinking. Yeah. But that's not a bad thing.
Which is fine, because when you mix them together, you get some that's good, some that's like easier than others, and that kind of thing. There is more, obviously, the more realms there are. I think it's something like, it's over 50 now, I think there are realms. We don't have that many. We have like 20 odd.
But it did make me want to get more realms.
It definitely.
I just love that game. It's fine having, but it's like I want to collect it all.
But there is more chance as well when you're playing the game and you pull out ones that are like, oh, well, none of these are actually resource heavy now. So how do I get the resources to do? But it's all part of the fun of it, always making it a different game. The fact that the box comes with a small travel box inside. So if you're going on holiday, you can take the tiny Rolling Realms travel box with you rather than the whole big box.
It's a slightly bigger box as well, so it fits the older cards from the original
Yes.
Rolling Realms into it. So it doesn't take up 2 spaces on the shelf. It just takes a slightly bigger.
Yeah,
and it's got the inserts so you can separate the
dividers.
Colours.
Yeah, the dividers.
And there's
so
a different solo mode, I think.
Yeah, and there's a mini solo campaign situation, which is really nice.
It is cool. Well. If you like Rolling Realms and you want some more realms without buying the single packets,
boosters,
then it's good. And then you can fit your old box
in there. Yeah, that's the thing as well. And that box now will hold every single realm that's being released ever for the game. So that's it. You don't need another box. So when you know everything will just fit, and it's like having the big box for Viticulture and Scythe and all of those, the nesting box for Wingspan.
And then we realised when we got this new version of Rolling Realms how battered our cards are.
Oh yeah,
because there's such a difference between the new cards,
shiny, pristine,
and the
white.
ones that we've used
multiple times. Yeah, absolutely.
It's got new scoring cards as well. So
yeah, interesting.
If yours are a little bit like old and tired, then it's
interesting. Now the resources are circled vertically rather than horizontally, which is a bit different.
But
nice.
It is good.
Tis.
It's a good one. Kavango arrived.
Yes, the heaviest box.
Oh my gosh!
Ever. It's
heaviest,
weighs a ton.
It does.
It is lovely. Stunning.
We took it to the safari park.
We got a shiny lion.
Yes, we did. So the Kickstarter editions, I think they all have
all the Kickstarter
a shiny card,
yes.
And that's only going to happen in the Kickstarter
print run.
First print run. And we got a shiny lion, which in the realms of all those cards is a pretty good card to get. A shiny one.
I like a shiny lion.
We played it with Alana the other day.
Yeah,
she can play it.
Yeah, but she was on your team that time.
But she wants to play it by herself.
Yeah.
You're essentially collecting cards, but you can only collect cards if you've got certain tags from, like sort of what's the word? Like grasses and heath and things. You need to have the correct
tag to be able to get them.
Wildlife for that. Well,
the ecosystem. Yeah.
And then in order to get a predator, you have to have its prey, etc. And you're trying to score the most of them.
Yeah, you're trying to get the right ecosystem together to get the best.
But I think the whole thing has been thought about from an eco perspective.
Yeah, 100%. It's a beautiful game. It is very much a mash of, if you enjoy Meadow and you enjoy Wingspan, I think it's a no-brainer. Mm-hmm. It's definitely a very, very nice game from that perspective. I think it looks, when you open the box and there's all these components and everything's fantastically done, it looks, I think, more complicated and more daunting than it actually is.
Yeah, I was reading the rule book and I was like, oh, okay, and then you've got to do this, and then you've got to do this. And actually in gameplay, it's like, so again, it's that mechanism of taking a card from a hand of cards and then passing the hand on.
Card drafting, yeah.
So in a 2-player game, you're back and forth with these sets of cards. So you're sort of trying to work out whether that player is going to take the card that you need. There's also a sanctuary on the side of your board where you start off with, I think it's
3.
I think it's 2, but...
Oh, yeah, it's 2. It's 2, yeah.
Where so there's different decks of cards, A, B, C.
A, B, and C, and then there's the...
So C cards are like the predators and the big animals, which you can't play out until you've actually played A and B. It's like the north and south and east of Meadow. But what was I going to say? But yeah, so you get 2 of these sea cards to put in your sanctuary. So they're really different. You know, at the start you can't be working towards them, but you need to have them in mind, because if they're in your sanctuary, they're not going to score any points. So you're trying to move them into your actual
habitat. Your main bit, conservation area.
Yeah, it's very pretty.
It's nice. I'm looking forward to getting it to the table again and just trying it out and seeing what else.
But Matt and Zara are lovely people.
Yeah.
And
hopefully one day we can get them on here.
Yeah.
I want to get into Games on Air, a podcast about board games and the people who design them. Design them. Did you see what I said? Rent, Shuffle and Roll.
We also bought World Wonders from Arcane Wonders.
Oh, I love it.
And that is a polyonomo tile laying game.
Yes.
Where you are building up your population and your resources.
Yeah.
In order to score the most points.
So you're playing polyominoes that have that on your board, and you're paying for them on specific shelves. You've got 7 coins to spend to buy specific things. And then there's wonders, which are big wooden polyominoes. So like in Tapestry, where you have the big buildings that are specific polyominoes, that when you get them, you can pop them on your own little player board thing. You've got that. You can buy these wonders that fill up the shapes.
Oh my God, the wonders are amazing.
Oh, it's so good. So like, it's such a good game.
Things like the pyramids. You've got, what else is in there?
You've got the Easter Island things. You've got bridges. Yeah. You've got the... you've got everything. I
can't remember the names of the wonders now.
The horse of Italy.
Yeah, the Trojan horse.
That's him.
But some of these wonders take up a lot of space.
Yeah.
And you've got to find... And they've got to be next to the right kind of buildings and terrain, and they have specific requirements, so you can't just place them out whenever you like.
And we played a 3-player game of it the other day as well, didn't we, with May? And it was really nice at 2, but with more players, there's harder choices, aren't there?
I want to play at a higher player count because you add different shaped
tiles. Yeah.
It is really good.
I like it lots, and it's like one of those ones where I will always say Planet Unknown is my favourite polyomino tile laying game, but it's biting at the heels.
Yeah,
it's
you weren't
biting
sure
at
the
its
first
heels.
time we played it though.
No, it didn't make sense to me. Something I think we played something wrong, and
we were playing the roads wrong.
Yeah.
So you have to play out roads, and you can't play out buildings until they're next to a road.
You can't play the wonders without being next to a road, but the wonders, the picture on the card for the wonders look like the small roads. They don't look like, they look specifically like the small roads.
Yeah.
So if you were judging by the art on the card, you'd think that the wonders have to be specifically next to a small road. I
didn't read the rule book properly.
But they can, as long as they're next to a road, they can be placed. Which makes the game slightly easier to do things.
But then there's towers that you can buy that allow you to build out a road from essentially nowhere, because you build it out of the tower. So I think it's just a learning curve of just like how you can successfully build out your...
It's nice.
And then you get points for surrounding your buildings completely.
Yeah.
And things like that. You get more points for surrounding your buildings than you do placing out wonders.
Yeah.
Which is a bit counterintuitive, I think.
Yeah.
Because you actually only get like 1 point for the wonder.
Yeah, well, depending on the wonder.
You could get like multiple points.
But the thing there is the wonder takes up so many squares, you can really surround more, fill up more of your thing for it. Nice.
And then I left my favourite game to the end.
Yes, you did.
Oh. So I have fallen in love with this game.
So when I said to you, cooperative or competitive, you went, competitive.
Yeah. But I don't always want to play this game. So I found...
That's a lie as well. It's an absolute lie.
We've found...
The
new Pandemic.
It's
not Pandemic at all. But
it's made by Matt Laycock.
It gives me the Pandemic feels. All of them. And the way... So Pandemic for me has always been very clever, because it's one of those games where you don't always win the game, and that's good.
Yes.
There are some games where you don't win the game and you just feel like, oh,
Yeah.
it's just too hard. Like I would say, Viticulture World feels too hard.
Yeah.
Is too hard, and I don't know whether I have the inclination to do it.
Yeah.
I don't know if that makes sense.
No.
Pandemic, for me, has always been like, oh, I'll have another go at that because I was so close.
Yeah.
But we just didn't quite do something. Or I know that thing that I could change to make it better.
Yeah.
And this game does that, I think. Like it's quick, quite quick.
Yeah.
I would say not
Yeah,
like
we
super
lose rapidly quick. We just lose like.
But it's
that.
one of those where I would be like, play it back to back because I'm like, I need to fix this. This we can't essentially let the world burn.
Yeah,
because we couldn't make it work.
It's so easy to reset as well. That's the thing.
Really is. And this game is Daybreak. Now, I tried to speak to people about it because after I played it the first couple of times, I was like, I need to talk to people about this. How many people have played it? But I couldn't find an awful lot of people who had played it. It is probably one of those games that you would pass by, maybe, because it's got the eco-friendly kind of. We're working to save the world, and I don't know how many people want to play a game about that because that's like real life.
Yeah, and I think as well because the game is fully eco-friendly, like the production is eco-friendly. There's not one shred of plastic
like
in the box.
The boxes for the resources look like they're your takeaway
Chinese takeaway pots.
Not the plastic ones.
No,
like
cardboard,
like kebab.
Yeah.
Pots type.
But I think the box is quite a matty colour as well. Like I know people have played it, and a lot of people play it on BGA at the moment because it's there. But I'm not sure quite how much it sticks out.
No,
like.
But it sticks in your mind.
There's there's a message on like a pandemic box. You're like, oh my god, that looks fun.
I've also played some like eco-friendly games where it like throws it down your throat. You're like, yes, like save the world. You are a bad person.
Yes.
We need to do better. This isn't that. Like, this doesn't put it in your face that you're an awful human being. It's very clever. It's got little QR codes that you can scan,
incredible,
and it will tell you information.
Every single card, every single thing in the box has a QR code, and you scan the QR code, and it will take you to their website, and it will tell you all of the information about that specific thing and what we can do to help. And it's just amazing.
So you are trying to save the world from carbon emissions, essentially, because the world is heating up, which we all know, and you are trying to turn that around so that you are taking out more carbon than what you are putting into the atmosphere.
You're trying to get close to net zero as humanly possible.
Yeah. And if you manage to do that, then you win the game, essentially. But so you start by putting out trees and oceans onto the board. They come in 1s and 5 denominations.
Yeah. And
part of the game, to work out your score of emissions, you have to look at your board. It sounds complicated, but when you're actually playing it, it's not. It's just complicated for me to explain. You have certain emissions that you are giving out, and you put these onto the Earth board.
Yeah.
And I can't make it sound exciting, but when you're actually doing this, it feels like...
Yeah, you're putting these black cubes, at each bit is your carbon, so you're adding them.
So you have 5 black cubes, and you put them on the 5 tree, and that's like the trees absorb the
oxygen,
and then anything left over goes onto the temperature gauge, and then if you fill up certain squares on the temperature gauge, the thermometer goes up, and you actually see in real time what is happening to the Earth. And I don't know, just
it's so much more.
So
the first game that we played of it, we were like, right, so I've got dirty energy. So you have on your player board, you have dirty energy and clean energy, and obviously you want to clear out your dirty energy and you want to turn it into clean energy, natural and like electric and natural wind and such and such. So the first thing I did was like, right, well, forget this. I'm getting rid of that dirty energy. I got rid of the dirty energy and then got into the end of the round, and I didn't have enough energy to actually power the homes I had. So we ended up going into cities in turmoil because I didn't have enough energy. I'm like, okay, I've got good energy, but I don't have enough. So I need the dirty energy.
Yeah.
I need to.
So it was
it's
like
a slow transition. It really.
But also, it was like a teaching moment because
we fucked.
Huh?
I was going to say we fucked up.
No, but like it was a teaching moment because, like you learn that actually you need that energy in order for houses to. So you got a little like house icon, and it tells you start with 12 houses. So that's like to represent your population in your.
Well, depending on what country you are,
or 6, or whatever it is. So say that was for 12 million people. I don't know. But you can't just take 6 dirty energy away because then 6 million people don't have any energy to like
power their
homes. And so there's like a teachable moment in a game that comes out of the consequence of how you've played the game, but it doesn't like shove it down your throat.
No, there's also what's called is it's asymmetrical. Mm-hmm. So whoever the different countries, so you've got Europe, you've got America, you've got China, and something else, everyone else or something. And they all start at different like levels,
and with different energy.
And different outputs and different emissions, different types of emissions. So it's car, America has a lot of cars and stuff like that, and then China has, I think, a lot of factories and all sorts.
And the cards mitigate against that, so you could like take away the like the emissions from cattle. But then, it's going to do something else.
Yeah, so you can push up the population track, which is a little house, but then take away cattle, which is good because you want to get rid of like some of that pollution, but you've then pushed up. So now you've got to work out how to get more energy on that kind of thing. And there's a lot of ways that things move around that you've just got to kind of work out the best way to do it.
And also the way you play out the cards. So you can... you have a starting hand of cards, and then you can play a card in front of a card to get a new action.
Yep.
Or you can play it behind a card to get an extra tag, because sometimes it says you can do 2 of this thing if you have 2 tags in the column. So that's quite an interesting, like, do I put it behind? Are you supporting this initiative, or, are you starting a new initiative kind of thing? And then every turn there's some crisis that you have to
resolve. And then that's going to put the temperature up. There'll be different things going on. It's fantastic. Good. And we've played 3 different of these kind of eco world rescuing games.
This is the best by far.
And okay, it's by Matt Laycock, who knows his thing. It's by a bigger production company. It's not an independent designer. And the other ones we've played have been from indie designers. So there have been a foot in the door for them as far as a board game is concerned. And this isn't saying what they're doing is bad or what they're doing isn't good. It's just this
does it so well.
This game is so good. So good. Stuff just is paling in comparison at the moment to it.
If you want to learn about the world and the environment at the same time as playing a game, this is the game.
If you want kids to kind of see,
it plays out in front of you. Yeah.
It's just like young adults, young kids, like just to learn and show what.
Like I'm excited
the choices they make.
Show like our eldest.
Yeah.
Because she'll get what's actually happening in the world without going, well, here's a textbook where you can read about it.
But it's simple. The gameplay is simple, and I think another thing that the other games have done is overcomplicate stuff. They've gone, oh, cool, this is a cool idea of the way of doing things, the way to show this, but this is a
or it wants you to
simpler way.
understand like the other game. Can't remember what it's called. The other game that we played. You needed to sort of understand all the different types of energy. Well, I mean, I don't. But this one, it doesn't. You don't need any extra knowledge to be able to understand how to play the game or to understand what's happening, even. But if you want that extra knowledge, it will give it to you.
Because you just scan a QR code. Yeah. Understand what's going on.
And it's cooperative, so you work together to try to reduce the temperature of the Earth. But it's really hard.
Yeah.
We've won it once on BGA, but I think it's more to do with like how the cards come out and what help you get. But it's really good. I can't I want to show everybody.
It's one of those games that is a like hidden kind of. It seems like a hidden gem, but shouldn't be a hidden gem. It's really good. I don't think it's for everybody, and I know that not everyone's. I think there's a lot of games that people are like, oh, but that's real life, and I want to escape, and that's absolutely fine. But there is the challenge of the puzzle that is in this game, and it's just that.
And there's an extra box of cards, which we've had to use because
it's really hard.
So so it's really hard on like normal mode. So there is an extra box of cards where you can change the level of difficulty by adding some help cards or by taking, or you add some challenge cards to make it harder. I mean, I don't know who's adding that. Maybe we'll get there one day, but
make it more difficult.
But that's nice because then you can change the difficulty, and as you get more confident with the game, you can make it harder for yourself. So there's quite a lot of legs in it, I guess.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of replayability. There's a lot of learning. I think it'd be good for schools. It'll be good for happy days.
That was what we played recently.
Some of what we've played and some of what's just appeared in this.
What's coming next, Craig?
Nothing.
He's not going to talk about it. I thought he would want to be shouting.
Next is I'm going to be filing for bankruptcy. But yeah, we'll see. Maybe that'll be a new episode. Maybe there'll be an episode all about that.
You're not going to say anything about it?
I'm not going to say anything at all.
Oh, wow.
I'm going to say
it's a secret.
Big secret.
Think about something that Craig wants and then think about the game that it might be.
Yeah, let us know. Answers
Coming
on a postcard.
Soon.
With the new games that we've got, I'm going to give a 10-second countdown. I want you to think of your board game menu of the new games that we have, and I'm giving you 10 seconds now. So 10, 9,
I've thought.
1.
I'm ready.
0.
I'm ready.
Got it.
So, for my starter, I would say Castle Combo.
Okay, nice.
It's probably quite maybe a strategic game. Like, it's not for gamers.
Yeah.
Say we were having gamers round.
Okay.
It's not for a newbie, I don't think.
Okay.
It's going to take a lot of explaining, I would think.
Yep.
But I would start there. Then I would play Daybreak as the main.
Okay.
And then we would finish with a light-hearted game of 13 Beavers.
Yeah, smashed it.
Cool. What would you say?
I think then, just to be different, I think I would start off with a game of Spots.
Mm-hmm.
Then I would bring us to a game of World Wonders. And then 100% still finish off with a game of 13 Beavers because it's bloody brilliant.
And also, late at night, you can just play 13 Beavers. You don't need much of your brain.
In fact, I'm going to play it after we've recorded this podcast. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to bed.
Okay.
Or I'll upload this podcast probably. But yeah, I think that's it. I think that's most of the games we've had. We've still got games to get to the table. We've still got Arcs to play. Arcs is sitting there.
Yeah, we've got
ready
a few
to
new
learn.
ones. We've got Festival from...
Festival from Hachette. We've also got the Wednesday card game from Hachette to get to the table. We've got a fair few games.
Survival of the Fattest to get back to the table.
We've got How Am I Weird. That's enough about that one. Yeah.
Actually, I played How Am I Weird?
Yeah.
With my friends.
Is that how you want to end it after Daybreak?
It was like a Cards Against Humanity type game. It was all right.
Yeah.
It was just a tamer version of that.
Yeah. One that's, yeah. Anyway.
So, yeah.
So that's us. So, yeah, thank you very much for listening to this longer episode than normal, but also a normal episode to normal. Yeah, so make sure...
You might be able to see bits of it.
You may well be able to. We'll see how it looks. We've filmed it. I'm lit like a Christmas tree. Anyway, thank you. I'm not. Thank you very much for listening to the podcast of choice. Get into games on air. That is us. Yeah. Remember to head to rentshuffleandroll.co.uk and use the code GITG50 to get 50% off. I do have an affiliate link for Tinkertown's Games somewhere that you can probably use.
Well, he'll put it.
I'll remember to tag that.
Something.
It's on one of the previous episodes, so do yourself a favour and listen to all the other episodes and read all the episode descriptions because the affiliate link is definitely in one of the episodes.
Can I do a quick plug? Yes? No?
My silence is a yes.
Go on to Trying Games' Kickstarter and
Back
it.
Can't go.
Divide and Conquer and back it.
Yes. Trying Games has launched Can't Go.
Fully funded.
The game of poop, points and pandemonium. It is fully funded. If you are in the Leamington Spa, Warwickshire area, there is the Dice Box Publisher Showcase this Tuesday. Which means I'm definitely going to have to release this video, this episode now. But that is happening, and you can play Divide and Conquer. You can play Can't Go. You can play Sakana Stack. You can play Time Troopers, Cake of Doom, Lakes, Ocean Pods, and Shoal.
Time Troopers.
Time Troopers? Mostly Time Troopers.
I will be playing Time Troopers.
You can definitely play... You could definitely possibly play Time Troopers.
Nobody else can play it.
It's a solo-only game or co-op.
I'll be playing it, sorry.
But yeah, that's that. That's the episode. Thank you very much for listening. If you could leave a 5-star review in your podcast of choice, not a 4-star review. I don't know who left
you a 4-star review.
Someone on Apple. So I'm watching
what
you.
What did they say you'd have to do to get the extra star?
I don't know what I have to do. Probably be more professional. Do an edit.
Maybe
I don't
it was
think
4 stars for me and no stars for you.
That is probably accurate. Yeah, leave a 5-star review on your podcatcher of choice. Write a little review. Sing a little ditty. Share us on social media. If you've listened to this episode, share us on the socialmedia.coms. Tell a friend. The only way to grow the podcast is by telling other people about us. If you tell one person, that's one extra person. So thank you very much for listening.
If you listened for an hour and a half of this podcast, then you have done amazingly well, my friend.
You've done so well, but you've had to listen to all that time to listen to Daybreak being talked about. Congratulations.
Oh my gosh, go get it. Daybreak.
Yeah. So, thanks for listening to the podcast, and we will see you on the next one. Next week, we will be releasing weekly again. We're getting back in the habit.
We're going to talk to each other.
Just like Sister Act. Back in the habit. Gremlins. Remember to...
Can you make it last 2 minutes? Because then it'll be an hour and a half.
So, another game that I've been playing recently is a game... we played Blood on the Clock Tower. That was fun. I remember that.
We played it in real life, and Bradley Gregg...
Bradley?
Is a liar.
He's a liar. Liar and a cheat. And a rapscallion.
A good one.
Yeah, but a rapscallion all the same. And that's it.
If you're watching this on the video, you could have just seen me try to drink my water without the straw in it. It's very embarrassing.
I've been drinking cups of tea for ages. So hopefully I'll do video editing, because I definitely don't do podcasting. Are we really waiting 1 minute?
Yeah, so it's an hour and a half.
Oh, perfect. You've got 1 minute left.
Yeah. So
send in your questions and we'll answer them live in the podcast. We're waiting by the phones. You can call in. Our number is 0800 Get Into Games. Bring. Hello. Oh, yep. That's great. Thanks for loving the podcast. love you, Craig. You're so fantastic. Yeah, okay, cool. So why did you call today? Board games. Oh, yeah, okay, board. Yeah, okay. I love them all. I want to play Everdell. Everdell is the best game ever. Everdell, I love Everdell.
Oh,
Okay, that's great.
we
I'm glad.
backed.
Oh,
Can't
go. The game of two.
Duo because it's really cheap.
It's very cheap on at the moment, and then once that's gone through, I'm going to upgrade to the wooden tree. But Becky doesn't know that.
So from no Kickstarters to 2 in
yeah.
Because
we backed that one, Hero.
Oh yeah, but this was like our third one.
Yeah, exactly.
We don't usually do it. We may regret it.
Well,
anyway, remember
to get into
Daybreak
Games. 31.